Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and today we're going to look at honeycomb beeswax. Now, this is the honeycomb right out of the hive. The dark sections of honeycomb are where the broods were. The light sections are where the honey was, and you can see some of them are broken off because we've been breaking away pieces from this and putting it in our solar beeswax maker to make beeswax. It extracts the beeswax out of all the fiber products that are in the honeycomb. They melt and they fall down into a pan, and what you're left with in the melter is the garbage you can throw away, but what you get out of the deal is the beeswax. Now, beeswax, when you make it into a candle, when it burns, it doesn't produce the vapors that a normal candle does. It doesn't have all the other incendiaries out there to mess up the air. So here's a good look at some honeycombs. And now let's take a look at some more of the fun that we're going to have getting beeswax extracted from this used honeycomb from out of the hive. So stay tuned for some more fun. We'd like to ask that you please subscribe, hit the like button, and the notify to stay current with our content. Thank you. Now, you've seen the honeycomb, and this is the solar melter. Now, this was our first prototype. We took a black plastic tote case that we got from Home Depot or Kmart, one of the big places. We took some leftover insulation, 1/4 inch thick with foil, taped it to the outside of the container. The container is normally black. Then we put a piece of plexiglass over the top. This is from out of a frame, a 2-foot by 3-foot frame, and a couple of bricks to hold it down. But inside the smoker, you can see that we have a tilted pan that the honeycomb is in. There's a couple of holes down in the bottom, and then underneath it, there's a pan to catch the beeswax. So when you heat this honeycomb, and that's all brood honeycomb there, you can tell from the dark color, the beeswax, you can see, runs down, goes through the holes and falls into the pan, and you can collect it. So you need a couple of warm days, and you can melt an entire thing of honeycomb in less than a day if you have the right day. Now, like I said, this was our first prototype. We made it from a container we bought from one of the big stores. You can see that we made a styrofoam gasket around the top to keep the air out, to keep the heat in. Since then, we have bought a commercially made product. It's painted black on the inside. It's out of wood. It has a hinged lid. So it has everything that you need right there in a commercial product. So we bought that from the Amish here in Ohio, and we're using it to melt the wax. But like I said, this was our first prototype. We had a thermometer in there to keep track of the temperature and everything, and you can see the honeycomb being melted. Now, like I say, we started with this big container that we got from one of the box stores. We got it because it was black. It would heat up on the inside. The plexiglass wasn't hard to get to, and away it went, ladies and gentlemen. So you load the pan up, and you just let the sun do the work. You don't have to stir it or anything else. You want to point it due south so it catches light in the early part of the morning, or if you only get light in a certain part of a day in your driveway, then you can just go ahead and place it there, face it so that it gets a lot of sun. It will get warm in that box, and it will melt the honeycomb. You can also straighten out things in the solar box. If you've got some warped records from back in the day, you can place them in there with a piece of glass over the top of the record. As the record heats up, the glass will push it flat again, and now you won't have a warped record on your turnograph. This is especially important for 78 RPM records. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is what the solar melter looks like. And then, of course, as we talked about, when you get to the end of the process, you get beeswax. Now, we don't have, it's not very thick here because, as you can see, there's not a lot of wax in the comb, but this is what we're getting, and last year we were able to make candles. So we hope you found all this useful and informative. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day at your house.